In this video, we're going to be doing a lot of reading because we had ourselves Montreal Canadiens prospects doing their thing at development camp. And of course, you already know from the title, from the thumbnail, we're going to be focusing on two guys. Or, I guess maybe three if you really wanted to say it like that, but two guys in the Montreal Canadiens system that happen to be the team's best defensive prospects. One of them was a second-round pick from last year, the other one was a top 5 pick from this year. You know from the title, you know from the thumbnail, today we're talking about David Reinbacher, the big right-handed guy, as well as Lane Hutson, the smaller, quick, shifty, offensively potent left-handed guy. These two were put onto the same pairing at Canadiens development camp scrimmage, and we have ourselves two things that I wanted to go out there and read to get you your fill on these prospects and what we could see out of them in the future. Let's head over onto Sportsnet because there's an article written by the Canadian Press talking about what David Reinbacher had to say regarding Lane Hutson, and I also wanted to do this Twitter thread here because Hattie K went out there and they watched the scrimmage in full, had some notes, had some really good analysis done, posted onto Twitter here. Of course, you know, the scrimmage was live on YouTube, so a lot of us watched it. I watched a bit of the clips myself. Didn't stick around for the entire game though, but did see some of what was going on. Let's start things out with Hattie K's Twitter thread because they did a pretty good insight analysis on everything that went down. Here are my final thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens scrimmage game, Hattie writes, while I wait for my internet to come back after a lightning strike. My goodness, that's rough to hear. Hopefully it was okay. First note, Lane Hutson and David Reinbacher on the same pair forever. Please and thank you. I was really impressed with David Reinbacher's play reading and offensive zone activation. Lane Hutson's skill level and vision complement Reinbacher's offensive pinches to perfection. This could help develop some better on-puck habits for Reinbacher, who still needs time and space to make plays with the puck. More high-danger puck touches equals more offensive exploration. And when you talk about this specific part of their games, Lane Hutson had the puck on his stick like a wizard during the scrimmage. You could see Habs fans on Twitter, in the YouTube comments section, all over just saying, hey, this guy is above and beyond the best puck handler out of all the prospects here. He's handling the puck like he's walking the dog on a yo-yo. Out of everybody combined, Lane Hutson is just the magician out there, and we had seen a few clips in particular of Hutson setting up Reinbacher with some really good plays. Hutson would be, for example, on the side, half boards, just kind of dangling by a few guys playing keep away, while David Reinbacher skates his way into the middle with free ice. Hutson sees this and throws the puck across to Reinbacher, who gets a great scoring opportunity. This is exactly what Hattie is writing about here, how this could develop some better puck habits for Reinbacher, who needs time and space. More high-danger touches with the puck will equal more offensive exploration for Reinbacher. This, of course, doesn't even talk about the defensive side, how Lane Hutson and his smaller, quicker, agile frame will complement the smooth skating and very strong defensive-minded presence that David Reinbacher brings, how one is able to allow the other to be a little bit more explorative in the offensive zone, and how their skill sets may complement each other together. It was very good, and there are a bunch of clips on Twitter, so I highly recommend you go out there and watch some of that yourself. The rest of the notes here on Hattie's thread kind of go over a few other things. It talks about a few other prospects, Xavier Simoneau, William Trudeau, Joshua, but what I also wanted to do, instead of going over the other guys, because I just kind of wanted to focus on the two defensemen here, was go over onto this article on sportsnet.ca. I didn't read the title earlier, because the title might shock you. The next Cale Makar. Lane Hutson impresses David Reinbacher at Montreal Canadiens development camp. This is what Reinbacher said in the opening quote of the piece. You get the puck, skate it out a little bit, and then you give it to Lane Hutson and you just start watching. He's probably the next Cale Makar. Now, of course, the article says it right there, Hutson, who is 19, has a long way to go before reaching that level, because Makar has a Norris Trophy, he has a Conn Smythe, he is really good, he was a Stanley Cup champion, but the thing is, when you compare collegiate careers, this is where things get crazy, because we did make a bunch of videos this season, I don't know if you had seen, talking about Lane Hutson and his insane point production. Cale Makar won the Hobey Baker in the NCAA in his, sophomore season, with 49 points in 41 games played and 16 goals. He was the captain of UMass, he made his debut at the Avalanche later that year, he played in the playoffs and he was good. But that was the point production in his Hobey Baker winning year. Lane Hutson this previous season had 1 fewer point in 2 fewer games. So points per game wise, Lane Hutson actually had a better rookie year in the NCAA than Cale Makar had when he won the Hobey Baker. So there's a lot going on here that says that Lane Hutson is following in the same mold. Now, of course, collegiate production does not guarantee NHL production. I'm not going to say that Lane Hutson is a future Norris winner, but just seeing the numbers and what we do have on our table, it's pretty good. There are some more comments in this article talking about Hutson, talking about Reinbacher. Let's go over what Canadiens Director of Player Development Rob Ramage said of Lane Hutson. "I wish I could juke and jive like that. He continues to impress. When we drafted him, I'm thinking undersized defenseman. How is he going to fare? I got to watch him all last season, and every time he continued to impress." Ramage says that with the way the game has changed, Hutson's skill set, quickness, and hockey smarts make up for what he lacks in size. Hutson, while acknowledging that doctors tell him he still has an inch to grow, says he doesn't wake up every morning to see if he's gained an inch. "I just don't really think about it," he said. "When I'm on the ice, I feel like everyone's the same size. It's an equal playing field. It's just a game, so I go out and play." This is where things get really interesting, because with David Reinbacher comparing Hutson to Makar, Hutson was asked whom Reinbacher reminds him of. He's the next David Reinbacher. He's going to be really good. You can see it. He wants to get better, and he wants to be good every day. Remember how I talked about Lane Hutson setting up Reinbacher multiple times throughout the scrimmage? Well, they actually asked him about that too. They asked Reinbacher, "I had 3 chances, OMG. Lane did everything to score for me, but it didn't want to go in, so I'll probably just change some sticks." "It's July, for crying out loud," said Rob Ramage, giving the prospect a break for the missed chances. He just wanted to do so well for everybody. And this is why I'm so excited. I want to make this particular video, because when it comes to Reinbacher and Hutson, these guys have such different playing styles. They have such different profiles. They're left and they're right. Yin to the yang, defensive to the offensive, and they complement each other so well, literally and stylistically in terms of what they do on the ice, that this training camp, this development prospects camp scrimmage game that we had seen might just be foretelling of what could be the best case scenario if everything works out right for both of these players in the long term. We know Hutson is going back to the NCAA. We have no idea what's going to happen with Reinbacher if he stays in Europe, if he comes over here, plays in the AHL, whatever. The Canadiens are going to have a plan, and Reinbacher's probably going to just follow with whatever it is they tell him to do. But of course, with all the backlash from the draft pick earlier on last week, and the Canadiens apparently being a little bit sus with the idea of bringing him over because of that backlash, I'm really just waiting to see what happens here. Obviously, I'm not Kent Hughes, so I'm not going to go out there and tell you what's happening, but just keep your eyes and ears peeled for whatever is going to transpire. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Lane Hutson as well as David Reinbacher, the comparisons to Cale Makar. Lane Hutson said that David Reinbacher is going to be the next David Reinbacher, and I like that. But Reinbacher said, yeah, Hutson may be the next Makar. So what are your thoughts on that assessment? Do you think Hutson has it in him to have that same type of an impact? If it were up to me, I feel like Cale Makar has such a great ability to protect the puck. Not necessarily with his slipperiness or his agility. Lane Hutson has that, but Cale Makar is really good at getting shoved and shoved and shoved and just not falling down, still doing what it is that he needs to be doing. Plus, he is such a powerful, explosive skater. While Lane Hutson has the finesse, speed, and agility, I don't necessarily see the same explosivity out of his first 2 steps and acceleration like Makar has. It's part of the reason why Makar is so dominant whenever he wants to be at the NHL level against NHL athletes. So for me personally, there's a little bit more explosivity that needs to be improved upon there, but Lane Hutson has the offensive IQ, the vision, the passing, the skills, the playmaking, the scoring to make up for it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about Hutson and Makar? What do you think about Reinbacher and his pairing with Hutson? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.